The college football season is in full swing. Quite a few of the teams have become subject to 1 or 2 losses. However, 11 Power 4 teams remain undefeated. Miami and Georgia Tech in the ACC, Texas Tech and BYU over in the Big 12, Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon for the Big 10, and Missouri, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma down in the SEC. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Lauren Harth alongside Isaac Hallock and Connor Patterson. And we're here to break down all of those undefeated teams and discuss how much longer they can stay out of the loser column. Now, Isaac, I'm going to come to you first. A lot of these teams have been exciting to watch in the quest to stay undefeated, but which of these teams has surprised you and you think deserves to keep their undefeated record going?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Miami Hurricanes. Go down south a bit. This Miami team, if you would have told me at this point in the year they would have already been at number 2, I wouldn't have believed you. So, of course, led by this transfer quarterback out of Georgia, Carson Beck, and then also you have Ruben Bain on the defensive side of the football, a great defensive end. Those two in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy. But you have a Miami team that has beaten 3 ranked opponents already, Notre Dame, South Florida, believe it or not. And then you also have, just a couple of days ago, beating Florida State 28-22, Florida State dropping to number 25 in the rankings. Granted, Miami doesn't have any more currently ranked opponents coming up on their schedule, but still really surprised by what they've done. Mario Cristobal, he is a Miami alum as the head coach, so he's got to be proud with what his team has done so far, and I think this team is a legit national title contender.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I think maybe they haven't had the toughest schedule so far, but they haven't played those teams down to their level. They have played above the level. They've taken care of maybe the teams that they were supposed to take care of, and like you said, South Florida, I mean, that is a ranked team this year, which might be surprising to some people, but they've had, a few quality ones here and there. I don't think they have one of the toughest schedules, but I agree they definitely are a national contender in my mind too. But I'm going to switch over. I'll go. My team is going to be Oregon, and I've been very impressed by their quarterback play. Dante Moore came here just 2 weeks ago now, and he played so composed. I was shocked. I knew he was good coming into the season, but when I seen him coming here, he didn't seem like he was rattled at all. By the first snap, the noise wasn't affecting him. He didn't throw any incompletions. There wasn't a play where I was like, wow, that was that was a mistake. And I would have been upset if I was an Oregon fan. He played phenomenal. And you see in the post-game videos of Dan Lanning, this is a well-coached team. He's an energetic coach. He has his players in the right position, and I don't have any doubts when Oregon comes to play that he's going to have them ready no matter who the opponent is. And their toughest game, which might be us, might already be behind them, and they have that statement win already.
No, I agree with both of you, and I like how you touched on the new quarterbacks coming in this season. A lot of the times, the foundation of your team, the quarterback, it's hard to handle a new quarterback coming in and still keep the momentum. These are 2 really successful teams, even from last year, but they're handling the start of their season really well, and I am excited to see where they are going to go. But where there's always the teams who are excelling and meeting expectations, they're the ones who are falling short. So, Connor, I'm going to come to you with this one. Which team do you think is a fraud of an undefeated team? I'm
going to go with Missouri, and I know that might break a lot of Penn State fans' hearts because they have Bo Pribula, who is kind of a controversial pick between him and Drew Aller, who the Nittany Lions should have kept. But he's playing decent football. I'm just not sure that I'm fully bought in on his arm talent yet. I think when they play some of those more ranked teams, and they have a hard schedule coming up. They haven't really played a tough opponent yet, and the schedule's not going to get any easier. They have Alabama, Vanderbilt, both in line coming up soon, and I don't see those as wins. I see maybe 3 potential losses by the end of the year, and I'm certain that those teams will focus on his run, make him throw the ball, and I'm not sure he has that talent to take them to the national championship or even the playoffs. I think they'll be grabbing at least 3 losses by the end of the year.
Man, we're going to keep on talking about the quarterbacks. Bear Backmeyer for BYU, and this is the team that I have as the fraud out of the undefeated teams. Bear Backmeyer, he's the first ever true freshman in program history at BYU to start the season opener. And this is a BYU team that 2 years ago is their first year in the Big 12, went 5-7, so learning curve going into a new conference. Last year went 11-2, so you can see this team stepping up a bit. But you're looking at this year, 5-0, they've played 3 Power 4 opponents. All of those opponents have losing records, so really haven't proven too much. And a couple of weeks ago, they played at Folsom Field, taking on Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes, and only won that game 24-21. Granted, it was on the road, but still, this doesn't look like a fully complete BYU team just yet. Backmeyer, give him credit. He has performed well in what we've seen out of him so far as a true freshman. But I honestly see coming up in a couple weeks, big rivalry game in the Holy War, BYU and Utah. I could see that being a big trap game for BYU, although it is BYU playing at home. BYU also has 2 more ranked opponents on the schedule. They have Iowa State coming up. They'll also have Texas Tech, that is a top 10 team. So overall, for BYU, I would like to, if they do make it to the college football playoff, play one of these big heavy hitters out of the Big Ten or SEC to see what they're really made out of.
Yeah, I agree. I think BYU is well coached. Their offense is moving, and they're impressive. But I think it's just one of those teams that if your team was to play them, you wouldn't be afraid to play BYU just yet. They haven't had that significant win yet. They don't strike fear into opponents. And it's not a name when you hear like, oh, we got to play BYU. That's not really something you hear. And like you said, they have the ranked opponents coming up. So it'll be more interesting to see them when they verse a quality opponent and not beat up on some of these lesser teams.
No, I agree with both of you, and I think it's hard when you unfortunately take a Big 12 or ACC team and try to compare it to the Big 10 or the SEC, where just the strength of schedule is stronger. Obviously, Missouri is going to have a harder schedule coming up the rest of the season than BYU is, just because of the success of the SEC, especially having to go on the road to some of these other SEC programs. So it'll be interesting to see how they finish out. I think if they can ride the momentum that Bo Pribula seems them moving on right now, if he can figure out how to throw the ball and run, keep the defense on their toes, I think Missouri is a team to watch out for, which leads me perfectly into my last point. It's very difficult in college football now to successfully complete the undefeated season. But if you guys had to pick one, is there a team that you think can do it this whole year? And if not, why not?
Oh, man. The Ohio State Buckeyes, come on. I mean, this is an incredible program every year historically, but I think the same is true for them this season. Doesn't seem like they've lost a step from last year's national championship victory. This is a team that defensively are holding the offenses to the 3rd fewest yards per game out of any team in the nation. And Ohio State, the big thing for me looking at the Buckeyes, I would like them to be tested on the road. They did play 1 road game so far this season. They played out at Washington, which can be a tough place to play. They won that game 24-6. They will be playing Illinois, a ranked Illinois team, on the road coming up. But honestly, I think, yes, that could be a test, but I think the big one is looking all the way to the very end of the season in the Big House when they take on Michigan. Michigan has won that game over Ohio State the past 4 seasons after the Buckeyes had won 8 straight in that series. Just a huge rivalry matchup. Obviously, an upset win for Michigan last year in that game, taking down the Buckeyes. But the Buckeyes, and this is the next point I have, they still bounced back and won the national title. This is a team that we don't see many upsets out of this Ohio State team. But when they do get upset, they bounce back strong, winning that national title game. And honestly, I see them going, and this is the whole point of the question, I see them going all the way through and finishing off with that undefeated season. I think this year they'll get Michigan in the Big House, but I'm going to have to eat my words later. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. The biggest win of the year so far is Texas. And at first, when that game happened, we were like, wow, Ohio State is legit. Like, they just beat this Arch Manning-led team. But now looking at that win, it's kind of like, was Texas who we thought they were? Right. Is that really even an impressive win anymore? I mean, it was at home. Texas, obviously now, with the few losses, Arch not playing very good football at all. How impressive really is that win anymore? And it'll be nice to see them get those tests later in the year. I mean, they have Penn State. They have Michigan, which is going to be away, and that's always a good rivalry, like you said. So it'll be nice to see them get those tests. I think if they finish the season undefeated, there'll be no doubts that they're the best team in college football due to just the strength of schedule. But for my pick, I'm going to switch over. I'm going to go back to who you said earlier is Miami. I have a lot of faith in Miami this year, and I think it's for good reason. The offense is moving. Carson Beck is playing great football, and it's just props to him, really. I mean, he came off a gruesome injury last year. And he's just playing great football out there. He's not really throwing many completions, doesn't have many picks. And then this team's veteran-led. They have a lot of seniors. You look at Mark Fletcher, Carson Beck, Ruben Bain. These are all juniors and seniors. So there's no lack of experience on this team. And they're well coached. And looking ahead, the reason I have them undefeated, maybe not because they're the best, but I'm going to go with the reason that their schedule is kind of weak finishing the season. You look, maybe they have Louisville, Pitt, Virginia Tech. These aren't strong teams. They are division ACC opponents. But it's not a strong end of the season. So maybe them finishing undefeated doesn't mean they're the best team, but I think they have the best shot over Ohio State just due to strength of schedule.
You make a great point there with the strength of schedule they're going to finish out with. Yeah, they might finish the regular season undefeated, but their likelihood of maybe going up against that SEC opponent at a neutral site, who knows if they'll be able to keep their same magic going. But on the road against Florida State this past weekend, they looked pretty strong, pretty complete. Yes, it got a little shaky in the fourth quarter, but Miami looks like a pretty strong team, so I think they definitely have a chance of going the whole way.
I think that's where that veteran presence comes in.
Definitely.
You have those games coming down to the wire at the end of the game. You have these guys with experience and that veteran presence. They're able to hold on to that lead and continue and just hold on to that win.
Definitely. It's exciting to see how it all is going to shake out the rest of the season.
Sure is.
Well, that is all the time we have for this week. Only time will tell if these teams are legitimate, undefeated season contenders or frauds who are waiting to meet their match. For Isaac Hallock and Connor Patterson, I'm Lauren Harth. Thanks for joining us and have a great rest of your night.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For more content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, and follow our socials down below.
And as always, we are
Penn State Sports Night.